session. So if you guys have any questions to ask, you can feel free to ask, or you can just listen. We're going to hear from some of our graduated seniors now that you guys have finished 2 years of college. Everybody here, and Yahira is about to finish third year of, I'm sorry, second year of college. She's not finished yet, still has finals. So real quick, if you three would introduce yourselves, and then we have some questions. And if seniors, if you guys have any questions at any point, this is your chance to get advice to like make sure you're ready for next year. Feel free to ask your questions or just sit there and listen. It's up to you. Those of you who had AP Test seniors, congratulations. You're finished with them now. It's over. We're just like waiting to the very end. And then if you guys have questions about school stuff, please let me know and I'll help answer your school questions. Let's talk about the college stuff first. So seniors, introduce yourself. Sylvia, tell us about what you're doing right now.
Me?
Yep, you get to start.
Okay, so
college major, anything like that.
All right, so hi, my name is Sylvia. We all graduated in 2018 from ESCO, but I go to CSUSM, and I'm a nursing major. So yeah, I mean, there's just that.
Cool. Natalie?
So hey, my name's Natalie. I'm also at CSUSM. I'm a kinesiology major, emphasis in movement science, and I declared a minor, just a Spanish minor recently.
Oh, cool. All right, and then Yahida.
Hi, my name's Yahida. I go to UCR, and I'm wrapping up my second year, and I'm majoring in business, concentrating in accounting.
Cool. So I have some questions here, and then if seniors at any point, if you want to ask a question, you can put it in the chat, or you can just chime in and ask your question. So feel free. I'll ask it for you if you're too nervous to ask it aloud. Feel free just to type it in the chat and I'll ask it for you. So the first one was because we're heading off to college, and this is like probably one of the most like uncertain years yet. Cal States are not holding classes in person already. UCs may or may not. So did you guys have any big worries ahead of your freshman year of college that you feel like you want to share? Any worries you had before freshman year, and then like how you dealt with those worries that you might have had?
I feel like
go ahead.
Okay, and in my case, since I went to Riverside, I stayed in the dorms for the first year. So my worry was like leaving home and kind of being a lot more independent and like on my own and not knowing anyone was very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, like my worries kind of came true because my dorm hall, like specifically my hall, wasn't like the best group of people. Like I just didn't connect with anyone there besides like my roommate. Luckily, my roommate was very like cool with me, and we got along great. I think what helped me get through my first year was definitely like joining my soccer club there and meeting so many new friends that I connect with, since we like love the same sport and we just like have the same like hobbies. So it was really good joining that team so I could transition better and have like friends by my side during my first year.
Okay,
so you else have any worries headed off to college?
Yeah, so my worry, I guess, was like, well, I didn't know anyone else at ESCO who had gotten into my major, so I was like, okay, who am I gonna be with? Just generally kind of starting over again, not really knowing anyone. And I mean, it's a pretty big campus, so, and everyone has different classes at different times, so I was like, who am I gonna be able to meet up with? But it kind of sorted itself out. Like I started talking to friends in classes, and then I had my cohort, so we kind of all just became friends, and I mean, that's that.
Awesome. If I could go back to oh, go ahead, Natalie, go ahead.
I'm on the same page with Sylvia. It's like starting any school year or starting any new school, you get those nerves of being on campus, just thinking if you're going to know anybody or not. That's exactly how I felt. But walking into my first class, luckily there were still people that I knew from Escondido and went on over to CSUSM as well. But it's kind of hard to reconnect with them because you're all starting new. But luckily, I got along with a couple people there, and we're kind of in like a cohort thing with the kinesiology majors, so that helped a lot.
Can you guys explain what cohort means and what that looks like?
So cohort in my sense is like we all started off as nursing majors, so we all take the same exact classes, exactly kind of like I would say elementary school when you would stay with that same group. And so you move on and you see the same people in every single class. But if, say, a person fails out of that class, then you have to move into the cohort below you. So then you have to like wait a whole year to retake that class.
Ooh, ouch, okay. Good to know. And then at your cohort, Natalie, that's just because you guys are all taking the same classes because you're the same major, is that correct?
Yeah, so for kinesiology at Cal State San Marcos, you can drop out of the major, but nobody can come into the major. So the people
Okay.
that you started with are the people that you keep on going with.
All right. And then I wanted to go back to your question, to your answer, Hyra. You said that people were kind of not the best in your dorm situation. So for those people who are going away, like what do you recommend if you have roommates that are like not so great?
Yeah, I mean, luckily I had, we kind of chose, UCL had a program where you could kind of connect with people that were looking for roommates. And I honestly just probably got lucky and got someone that was in my major because we were talking and I just wanted someone that was in the same major as me. That way we could like kind of work through it our first year together. She was also first generation. So we had a lot of things in common. So we got along really well. But I heard of other people in that hall that did not get along well with their roommate, and a lot of conflicts, like to the point where some people wanted to move out. And I mean, I just got lucky. I wouldn't know, because I didn't get along with some girls at the hall, but it's not really that we had any conflict or anything. We didn't get well. And we were starting to be friends, but we kind of just drifted apart because we were just not clicking. And I mean, it didn't affect me in any way, but I don't know how other people dealt with bad roommates, though. I can't really talk
Is
on.
is there a place that you turn to if you have a problem with somebody
Definitely.
or with something like that?
Each hall has an RA, which is,
Uh-huh.
I think it's residential, I don't know, it stands for something.
Advisor.
Yeah, advisor, there you go. And you talk to her if there's any conflicts. But
Okay.
for the most part, you kind of try to figure it out on your own, and the RA is like your last resort.
Yeah. Okay. So another question for you guys, since you've been in college for 2 years, do you feel like there was anything that you learned about yourself in this time you've been in college? Maybe like in this year or last year, like something that like, oh man, I didn't realize that I could do this, or you really had a strong achievement. What was something that you grew in or learned from yourself in the last couple of years you've been in college? Whoever wants to go first.
Personally, I started working my second semester of college, so I noticed that I'm more independent. So I was very dependent on my parents throughout high school. And I can say even my first semester of college, but as soon as I took on that responsibility of getting a job and making sure I scheduled my classes to where I still had enough time to make it on time to work. I noticed that I do a lot of things on my own. I think that's it, pretty much. I became more independent, and I noticed what I need to do for myself and how many responsibilities I actually have. So it was more of an accomplishment.
Awesome.
I feel like for me, I definitely discovered my first year. I felt I wasn't really feeling this. I don't know if it was a school or what it was, but I just wasn't feeling like I wasn't very happy living in the dorms, and I had thought it was because of the school itself. But going into my second year and I moved out and I had my own like place, definitely realized it was just the dorms itself, like having to eat the terrible food and not only being able to be on campus was not for me. Like I know a lot of people say like dorm was the best year or like whatever, like they make their most friends there, but it was like the total opposite for me, and I was so happy to like get out of there because I know I've always been independent, so like being on my own and having my freedom to like leave and do what I want, like because you couldn't even have your car on campus when you're dorming. So it
Oh,
was very hard. And so like my second year was great, cooking for myself, grocery shopping, everything like that.
so you got an apartment instead that second year?
Yeah, my second year I went I have like a housemates. So we like there's a bunch of students in a house and I just have my own room.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So for me, I again with the independence that both of them mentioned. Oh, oh. So I guess I learned that like school and life is what you make out of it. Like if you really go and try to do your best to become independent, you're going to be independent. But if you just stay like not really trying to become a different person or become a better person, it comes back to you. So I mean it is what you are. So I don't know. I'd explain it really well.
Sorry about that. My
You're good.
internet's been super bad right now. Trying to see if I can fix it. All right. So then another question for you guys about college stuff is about how your family reacted to you going off to college. Were they excited for you to get the heck out of the house? Were they, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Were they excited for you to get out of the house? Were they nervous? And then how did you guys deal with their feelings and everything?
They were all crying when I left. When they dropped me off to my dorm because they dropped me off and at first they're like, oh, that's cool, like checking out the dorms and helping me like settle in and stuff. And like once it was time to say goodbye, like started bawling. Like, well, some people like some of my family try to hold it in and like they cried in the the car ride back. And I heard like my little brother, which I'm like super close with, like just bawled his eyes out when he like came home. So it was like tough, definitely, when I left because we like definitely had like a strong connection. So it was not really easy leaving, but I feel like it was the best decision because I could focus on all my work and there was no distractions, and it definitely helped me transition into college a lot better because I could focus more.
Great.
My family was pretty happy that I stayed. I had the option to go away, but they were pretty excited for me to choose Casa San Marcos because I was staying home. But honestly, going back to and going to school, I'm not really home. So I'm still here, I go to school. I'm there from like, well, this semester I was there from 7:30 all the way to 12. And then I'd grab lunch on my way back home. I'd eat, nobody was home. So then I'd go to work and I'm not back till around 7. So it was, I don't know, it was kind of like, yeah, I still see my family and stuff, but I'm not really home. So I still have that like independence outside of home.
Oh, for me too. Of going away, but I chose to stay just because financially it was going to be a bit better for me and I didn't want to like put a burden on my parents, even though like I was planning to get a job where I was going to college to help offload that payment, but I still didn't want to do that. I think it's good staying home too. Like you're here with your parents if you have a good relationship with them. I don't know. I'm a big family person, so it's comforting to know that they're okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Do you feel like your family has been supportive? They've always wanted you guys to go to college all the way through? Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. How about this one? If you guys can think of one of the best, either fun, learning, something cool that happened in college. Let's think of a memory that has been made you grateful that you decided to do this, even though I'm sure it's been hard. We'll talk about the hard stuff later. I was trying to think of like, what are some like good memories we can share right now?
I guess for me, I mean, like I really like my major and I really like nursing as a whole and healthcare. So I like going to my clinicals, and you get certain types of patients who are like, yeah, you're a nursing student, whatever, I want the real nurse. But then there's those like patients that know and see you trying, and they understand your shyness and like your awkwardness, so they give you like the best advice. And you know, they're going through things, because I mean, wouldn't be there if they weren't. So I love that, and that always reminds me of like why I do what I do. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, school-wise, I mean, I like all my classes. It's something that I chose to do, so I have an interest in it. It's not that boring.
Not that boring. There are
So-
moments though.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's moments where it's like, okay, that's gone on for a little too long. But then there's also moments where I'm like, well, then I for sure learned something new today. Keep on practicing it throughout. That's school-based, but like fun. I've met a whole bunch of friends when we have gaps together. So maybe we have like an hour gap between our classes, Wings and Things, and like a whole bunch of other stores and restaurants are across the street from Cal State San Marcos. So we'll walk on over and get something to eat, then walk back onto campus.
Perfect.
Do you like fun as in anything fun, or like classes wise? Are you?
As in anything at all. They're almost graduated.
Oh, I mean, definitely joining my team. Like I said earlier, I built a lot of strong friendships, and they're just awesome people to be around. We always have like team bondings, or like we'll just go out to a party together, and we'll go out to eat, drink boba, or have like a dinner.
So the team,
it's pretty cool. We study together.
the team that you're a part of, is it school team, like intramural? How does that work?
So it's for UCR, so it's like the club team. So there's like intramurals where it's just like you have like a game once a week, and then that's pretty much it. And they're like different intramurals throughout the year. Club is kind of exactly like club soccer, like I used to do, like when I was in Escondido, like my club team. So you practice like twice a week, and like for 2 hours, and then you have games on weekends, and you either like could travel, we travel, or like sometimes we're home. So it's not like the Division 1 team, for like it's part of the school, but it's not like the D1 with the double what is it called, NCAA. So but it's definitely like less hectic, less stressful to like be part of, and also be in college at the same time.
All right, I know lots of our students are, just to change the topic a little bit, lots of our students are concerned because we just got financial aid statements, and sometimes it covers things, but there's still a lot of people who have like uncovered costs. So do you have any tips to save money in future years that might help some of these guys out?
So for me, luckily, the first 2 years were covered completely.
Okay.
But this upcoming year, I'm gonna have to pay.
Ouch.
What helped me a lot was getting a job and setting money aside. So I never knew if I didn't even know that I was gonna have to pay this year, but um, saving honestly helped. Getting a job helped, even when I didn't know I had to. So being responsible financially really matters because you never know when it's gonna happen. I never expected it to happen.
I definitely like go off of Natalie. Just if you know, I mean, she started working before she even knew she had to pay for anything. But if you do know that funds or financial aid will not cover all your needs for college and things like that, definitely start getting a job. Scholarships are definitely out there that you could get. I feel like the best. I know people just say get scholarships, but definitely focus on local scholarships with smaller competitive pools because you have a higher chance of getting them. Yeah, they're definitely out there if you need financial aid for some scholarships. But having a job works, saving money, like with your own needs, being financially responsible.
Yeah. I also got a job like half of my or 6 months after I started college. So I started just saving up. So every time I would get a check, I would make sure to like write, well, now I've been more responsible, but I've been writing down like everything that I spend on, or that's like a necessity, and then just making sure that I'm spending that money on that, and like giving myself say like $50 or $100 each check, to like kind of free spend. But then the rest of the money that I earn in that pay period goes to savings, and I like don't touch it. So I guess opening up a savings account and like making sure that you're budgeting your money helps. And then all like talking to your financial aid advisors or whoever is like there at the school, maybe to see if you can apply to some like scholarships, some smaller scholarships, that helps. Books wise, there's a website that I just told Natalie about, or like a while ago. It's called Library Genesis, and it gives you like free books, like free textbooks and stuff. So that's helpful too.
How do you spell that?
Talking to your
Library what?
Library Genesis.
Library
Genesis.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like you can also join Facebook websites and see if any like people above you or people who took the same classes sell books for a cheaper price than like bookstore or Amazon or Chegg and stuff like that. Just being like conscious of what you're spending on and not.
I'll center it again. Oh, for the dorms you hired, did you feel like living on your own off campus was saving you money? Oh, you guys hear me?
Definitely. Because I mean, I lived on the dorm. Yeah, I could hear you. I lived on the dorms because I just wanted to get that first year like college experience, like the full thing. But in the end of the day, if I could go back and switch, because I mean, I didn't have that much fun, and I definitely spent more money on the dorms than if I would have lived on my own, because I had to pay money out of my pocket. I mean, it was definitely doable. Thankfully, my parents were able to help me out because I wasn't working at the time and during my first year to like help me transition. But I had to pay about $2,000 in total, I think, for my first year. But everything else was covered. Like everything, tuition and dorms was covered from like my school, but we just had to pay like $2,000 out of pocket. And now this year, like my rent is basically, I get money back now, and the money I get back from financial aid is being used for my rent. And then like when I got a job on campus, well, when I was there, but I was working at Coffee Bean and I was working with work study, so all that money was just being saved for groceries or just put away for savings. So it definitely did help me moving out and on my own.
So I have,
S-
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. So, CSUSM parking is really expensive. So even though like we're living at home, it really sucks to pay those almost $700 for parking every single year. But also if you like we when CSUSM opens up again, a good tip. Well, I don't know if it saves more money. I feel like it saves more money, but buying the monthly pass, that works. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like the monthly pass every single time.
you just have to be careful to make sure you're actually paying it on time and not forget.
Yeah.
Because even if you slip that one day, those little campus police are going around giving tickets. So if you ever see like bright green envelope on your windshield, that's what it is.
I got a ticket and I paid online seconds, like I want to say 5 seconds before they gave me the ticket. So I appealed it and I won, I guess. I don't know.
But so going on to what Sylvia said about parking and stuff, I didn't take my car onto campus until my second year. So the majority of my first year, I took the Sprinter, which was very helpful. A little stressful because you have to not work your schedule, but you have to work around the Sprinter schedule to make sure you get onto campus on time. It did save a lot of money, but it was just a little hard. And then the walk from the Sprinter station on campus to campus is a good
Yeah, it's
walk.
the worst when it's raining too. So like
Oh yeah, it sucks when when it rains.
Yeah, but it saves you a lot of money, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more questions. Let's see, and then if you guys seniors have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or just ask. First question is, it's kind of a tough one, just whether you have ever felt like you did not belong at college. You had those moments where you kind of like got a little low self-esteem and you felt like, what am I doing here? Is this for me? This is too hard. Maybe one class made you feel that way, something happened like that, and then how did you deal with that feeling? And if you didn't feel that way, that's okay too.
It was definitely like the beginning of school, or the first quarter of my first year. It was just a transition, definitely. I mean, I never thought that I didn't belong there necessarily, but it was definitely a struggle. Like, what am I doing? What is Blackboard that they keep talking about? like all the online school website that we have for all our professors and things like that. But I had no idea. And I had 3 weeks straight not knowing what to do, where my homework was, or where was everything coming from. The professors definitely expect you to already know what to do, and I didn't. So it was very hard those first couple of weeks, but the good thing is I had my roommate in my major, so we definitely worked through it together.
Yeah, just kind of knowing what they expect from you already, it's hard to work around. So I remember I think it was my first week on campus, we had to sign up for a presentation online on Cougar Courses, which is what we use at Cal State San Marcos. I didn't even know how to sign up because I didn't even know what Cougar Courses was or how it worked. So the centers at school really helped. So I was sitting in front of the Latino Center when I was doing that. And I walked in there not knowing what to do. And I asked them, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how to sign up for this presentation and I need to sign up because it's my homework. And they're like, oh, don't worry. Like, are you a first year? And they totally knew what was going on. They helped me out. So there's centers at school. And for me, especially the Latino Center has been a very welcoming place for me because everybody around there is kind of in the same place. So you get to meet a lot of people who are exactly like you. And you talk about the same things, you're going through the same things. And it's just a cool place to hang out and to do homework, study, print stuff for free, which is helpful.
So in general, going to the student union, there's going to be some place you can go to get help with the learning curve of figuring out how to do school. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Sylvia?
For me, I guess I go through it every single week that I'm like, what am I doing? Am I gonna be a good nurse. Well, for me, it's kind of like you're into nursing in 2 years. It's like you're taking care of lives, so it's a little nerve wracking sometimes. But I mean, you just have to talk to people. Like the best thing that you can do is like talk to other people who are in your same situation, because like you can talk to your parents or you can talk to your best friend who's in another major. They might not really understand like what you're going through, but making sure you find that like one person in your major is helpful. um because you both are like experiencing the same thing. But yeah, reach out to like resources on campus if you feel like stuck or if you don't know what you're doing. Professors, depending on some professors, like they'll be really helpful. Like for example, we had our Spanish professor and she always told us like, if you guys need any help, reach out to us. And when I reached out to her, she was super helpful. But then there's those professors that shoot you down, but you just have to go for it and try. It's whatever.
You got to find your people, basically.
Yeah.
Professor people and also fellow students who are your people. That's good advice. Putting yourself out there in the beginning couple weeks probably helps with that. All right, so one more thing that kind of was thrust upon you this year, and it will be for everyone next year. Hopefully they'll be a little bit more, the teachers will be a little bit more prepared with the whole distance learning thing. Do you have any tips to help kids who are going to be starting off with distance learning? Because I would argue, and seniors, you can tell me if I'm wrong, I would argue that distance learning was not something that Escondido High School did well just right now. So I'm wondering if you have any tips to help the incoming freshmen to survive distance learning stuff.
Okay, so for me, again, talking to your professors is going to be really important because, I mean, it's new for them too, unless they've like taught online classes. It's going to be new for them. So you want to make sure that like if you're not agreeing with something and like, you know, you're talking to other people in that same class, or if, you know, I'm pretty sure if you feel it, like everyone else is feeling it too, making sure that you're talking to the professor about that, like that it's not okay or that you don't agree with it, or maybe even have like suggestions for them. Picking, I don't know if they've already picked their class. I don't think they picked
They
their
have
classes.
not picked their
But
class.
if like picking up morning classes for me helped because like everyone's asleep in my household. And then in the evening is when it gets kind of louder. So that was like my situation. I'm also thinking, I don't know, I forget what else I was gonna say, but
else have one?
those are my two things right now.
Yeah, going along with Sylvia, the whole morning classes, that helped me for sure because since everybody is home right now, it's really hard to get some quiet time. And I focus more when it's quiet. So either I did homework early in the morning or I stayed up late to do homework. So I had to put myself in that school mentality again because it's very easy to go off and be like, oh, well, I'm home. I don't need to do this. It's hard to get out of it, but staying organized really helps too. So even if you're not in school, writing down what you need to do for every class. So having your agenda, that helped me a lot. I had a notebook next to me writing down what I needed to do every week for each class. Talking to your professors, that's also very helpful. And I'm still I'm still a little too shy to ask my professors in person. So emailing them is an advantage to me right now because obviously I don't see them. But they're open to help, and professors understood the semester because obviously they hadn't gone through it with something new for us as well. So they knew it was going to be a little more difficult for us and it was difficult for them too. So I understood that too. Being online isn't easy, but it also isn't hard. You just have to make sure you organize your time, make sure you know what you have to do every week so you're not missing assignments because like Sylvia mentioned before, there's Facebook groups for us, and I saw a lot of people complaining like, oh, I totally forgot I had this whole assignment due this week. Oh, I totally forgot I had to take a test this week. So it's easy to drift away from your schoolwork.
Yeah. I've seen that too from this with the seniors. All right. So did any of you have to take labs online? And what was that like?
Luckily, no. My professor was kind of over the whole distance learning, so he's like, you know what? I had a whole practical to do this semester, but he's like, it's gonna be too much work. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So he just canceled the remaining of the labs that we had left.
Okay.
For me, I have labs, but we haven't started them. Like there's simulation labs online because the governor approved like the 50/50 simulation patient care. So we're gonna be doing like I think 7 virtual clinicals, but no one likes it. It sucks. But also one thing to add with like classes, since I know it's gonna be kind of hard like finding your own little group, I would say like in Zoom, when professors host like Zoom lectures, try and find the people that are being the most vocal in class and maybe like, I don't know, privately message them through Zoom and try and like form your own little group so that you have like your own little group of people. I don't know. I mean, because I know some people just like don't participate in stuff, and I mean, to each their own, but there's some people that actually are like will ask questions on lectures and stuff.
Yeah, you got to find those people so you can get answers from them because they're going to be the ones who you're going to get help from. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask the seniors, do you guys have any other questions that we should hear from you about? And if you guys also, college students, if you want to share any things that any other last piece of advice, that would be good too. So seniors, anything?
Definitely want to add that, I mean, for me, it would have helped to know. I mean, syllabus are definitely like huge. Everything that you're going to do throughout the whole quarter, the whole class is going to be on there. And especially with online, it's important to understand where your grades are coming from, where your points. So like where you could get the most points from, like to earn like assignments and stuff like that. So I know that's important to take a look at and seeing where your grades are coming from for each class.
Yeah.
Awesome. I got 2 questions, and then it looks like they're both the same one. How did you know which classes to take or which classes were required in freshman year? How'd you guys figure that out?
So for Cal State San Marcos, they make it very simple for us to choose classes. So we have a schedule assistant, and it organizes our courses for us in a way. So like for example, you have to take all of your GEs, which is your general education classes, before you go on to take any of your major classes. So it will only have your GE classes open to you, and if you try to enroll into any of your major classes, it just won't let you because you don't have any of the requirements or the prerequisites done before you do that. And then I know it's different this year for the incoming freshmen. Orientation date, I know our academic advisors were there and they gave us a whole list of what classes we had to do and in what order. So that was helpful, but not sure if they're going to do that or if they're going to have a chance to talk to academic advisors. But once they find out who their academics advisors are, it'd be good to email them and talk to them.
There's going to be like an online orientation, but I don't know how like much you're going to be able to talk with somebody, or if it's going to just be a discussion like this.
Yeah, at orientation they help you a lot, like the academic advisors. And for me, for the nursing program, it's a little bit different because like first year is all GEs, but then second year we start like our nursing classes, and you don't have to have finished all your GEs, I guess, because I still have like political science to take, like poli-sci 100. No, is it poli-sci 100? I don't know, or government something. Yeah, so it's kind of like whenever I am gonna finish it, but like also being aware of when your enrollment time is very important because it's like Hunger Games. So.
Yeah, that's what I compare it to. It's, you know, that some of your classes has the enrollment time at like 8 or 9, you don't have enrollment until 11, and sometimes classes will get full by then, so then you have to find something else. it's important to stay on top of that.
So you just end up with a less desirable time, or a class
Yeah.
you weren't as interested in?
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't get the class at all, and so you have to wait until next semester.
Bummer. Okay. Um, so signing up for classes online, and I put it on there just so you guys know, seniors, there is an assignment that shows you your roadmap and tells you which classes to take. But the scheduling assistant, how do you get to that when you're looking in your portal, Natalie?
I don't think so.
It's
For
My CSUSM, right?
yeah, so once you go into My CSUSM, you click
Enroll.
but the one before that. There's one before that where you see all of your schedule.
Oh, like student, just like your student stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
It pulls up the whole financial aid.
on that side where it says enroll, there's something that either says schedule assistant or says something else. But that once you click on there, it allows you to see all the classes you have to take and the ones you still need to take and the ones you're taking at the moment. So you can arrange your plan. So it's like the 4-year plan that we did in high school, to where you chose, okay, I know this year I'm gonna take English 10 or stuff like that. So that really helps to organize, to see how many units you want to take each semester, see what classes you would like to take each semester. So I know for me, I put in like around 2 classes that I know are going to be difficult for me, and I'll put 2 easy classes along with that. But then it also lets me see if I'm going to finish in 4 years, if I'm going to finish in 5, see how many semesters I have left, how many I have 15 units, or how many I have 12 units in. I know it's in My CSUSM
Student center.
on
I
the
just
side
looked
where it says enroll. It's
up.
one of those options. Yeah, in the student center, it's one of those options on the side. I don't know exactly what it's called because I forgot.
And I would
They
recommend
have tutorials.
signing up for orientation as soon as you can, so you can get on to your registration date too. And then for Randy, you're going to be at UCSD. So UCSD has the same kind of thing in Triton Link. You can get to that in the portal. Any other questions from you guys, or last minute advice before we end this for your holiday weekend?
For me, I would just say get a planner. It's
Okay.
super, super important. And like looking at your syllabus and making sure you see which assignments are to be turned in. I made our professor told us this, but she told us to like make a Google Docs and just write down every single thing that we have due, and then the day, and then just organize it, and then you go into your planner and write everything in. But also write it in pencil because sometimes dates change, but I don't know.
So generally, you get all the due dates in the beginning of the semester from all your classes.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's good.
To plan things out so you don't have like all your assignments due at the same time and you're like crying at home
Yeah,
by yourself.
Yeah.
it happens.
Attend every attend every Zoom meeting too if you can, or like every Zoom lecture, because I mean it's kind of like you're going to class. But it's better now because I mean you're at home and you don't have like an excuse to not make it. Try not to sleep in, even though you want to.
Missing classes.
Yeah.
I really missed my class yesterday because I was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. I realized too late, like an hour late, and of course it was like the one class he actually put like poll questions, which was like my participation points. I was so mad, but it happens. I mean, just have to be more responsible, I guess.
Yeah.
Are they doing online? Do you get to like review it later? Do they post the recorded Zoom sessions?
Oh yeah, definitely. They do post it later, so I could always watch it again. It's just like that's my participation points that I just lost for that day.
Mm-hmm. So we have one more question.
Yeah, there could be.
Oh, sorry.
We have one more question about AP credits. Do you recall how that works for you? I know there's a list of which classes count for which credit. So we can check that out. Do you remember like just personally how that worked out? Did you get to skip any classes?
I got to skip a couple classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew I skipped the introduction writing class. It's kind of like English, which is GEW. I know it's either AP Lang or AP Lit covered it.
Either one.
AP, yeah. AP US History covered one of my history requirements, but I still had to take another class. Forgot which other ones, but I know I did get to skip a couple classes because there's some people who started out with no AP credits, and I know they're going on for 5 years instead of 4. And luckily, I'm gonna finish exactly in 4 now. And I know for Spanish, it covered my first 2 or 3 classes, so now I only have to complete 4 to complete a minor. So it helped a lot.
The thing that sucks about UCs is that most of my, I mean, definitely like you said, AP Lit definitely covered. If I didn't pass AP Econs, either macro or micro in high school because I wasn't ready, but those would have covered the classes. I know just you have less, they just have less classes that they'll take. So I know for my AP US History, they just gave me credit for it, but it doesn't cover it. I had to still take a history. None of my AP Spanish credits were taken for any of my foreign language. I still have like 4 classes to take. So yeah, that's the thing that sucks about UCs. They don't really take a bunch of AP. I mean, definitely the ones I took, like the English AP Lit helped me. AP Stats definitely helped me. I was like ahead of like my roommate that because she didn't take it.
I can direct you to where you can find that at your college's website too, so you can see which ones count. One more question about how to study from home came in. So how do you, now that we're all stuck at home and you got people around you all the time and you can't like go to the library, how do you study and actually be effective? So you're not like distracted by, let's say, The Last Airbender or something like that.
One of
Like I
my
mentioned,
friends.
oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead,
ahead,
Natalie.
Sylvia.
Go ahead.
Like I mentioned before, trying to find when the quiet time in your house is. I know for me, it's in the morning and then really late at night, actually. I would take advantage of those times to study. So if I studied late, I would sleep in if I didn't have class. If I studied early in the morning, then obviously I'd try to go to sleep early. But trying to keep the same like tips and tricks that you had on your own during school. So I know for me, study guides, when I would study for a test, I would write down all of the answers to my study guide. I wouldn't do them all on the computer or anything. I'd write them down and look over that. So I know it's easier, everything's online. It's easier to do it like on a Word document or something, but keeping that whole like writing down was easy for me and helped me a lot. And really trying to schedule times to study, because it's easy to be like, oh, well, I have time tomorrow, just do it tomorrow, and then keep that going on till the end of the week. But yeah, forcing yourself to be like, I'm gonna study on Monday for maybe 10 minutes, I'll study on Tuesday, so that you have that helps.
My friend, we joked about it, but she completely messed up her sleep schedule. So she would wake up at like 4 p.m. and then go to sleep, I don't know, like at 6. Yeah, at 6 in the morning. So when we would be waking up, she would be going to sleep. So there's also that. I mean, your house is kind of quieter at midnight. You can do that, but I don't advise you to do that. That I also like Natalie said, scheduling blocks of time to study is really helpful. Make like giving yourself a routine is like was helpful to me. Like for example, getting ready before, not getting completely ready, but like getting a little bit ready before lecture, just so that you are in that mood. Like you didn't just roll out of bed. Also, if you are able to, doing like study sessions, like Zoom sessions with your friends, or with people in those classes is helpful. There's like apps where you can have like 30 minutes to study and then 5 minutes to have a little break and then 30 minutes study. So having focused study sessions, making sure you're taking care of yourself too, so that you're able to like be 100% present when you're studying is good. Yeah.
I would say if it's safe for you to try to get out of the house and take a walk just away from the family and the space you're in, and that kind of resets your brain so you're ready to come back and hit the books or re-engage with your family. But like separating the space of when you're doing something is nice, or scheduling it. Those are both really good suggestions.
Also, I mean, working out too, like if you have 30 minutes, just work out on your carpet floor or like your wood floor or something like that. Do something to get yourself active so that you're not just sitting down, because it can get stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, any other questions from you seniors? I know it's like coming around the corner next week. The 29th, we have a cap and gown pickup, so it should be pretty fun. And then next week we have one last session to say goodbye to your peers. So hopefully we get some people to show up and say some words to each other. And then any last advice from you guys to the seniors this year?
Just don't give up on online classes. I know it's very hard because it's like that's the first thing they have to like go into in their first new school and everything. It's gonna be hard, but try to stay focused as much as you can and try to work through it. Always reach out to your professors or TAs. They'll definitely like help you along the way.
Yeah, always try and think positive. Don't like keep yourself in that negative mindset. Know that it's not going to be forever, that you are going to be able to go on campus sometime, and like be a college student like that. But I mean, just it's for the safety of everyone. We have to like be safe and keep people healthy. So
Yeah, it was said twice. Try to stay positive. I know it's hard, but it's what we have to go through. We're not in control of it. So, yeah, the college experience will come at its time. Campus is gonna be there no matter what. Like you belong to that college campus, even if you're online. It's not gonna be as fun, but it's hard work has to come before we have a little bit of fun.
It'll make it even better when you finally do get to get on campus. You might actually be grateful, like, oh, I get to go to class today instead of stuck in my house. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure college campuses are gonna make the best of it once we're back, because we're gonna be introducing incoming freshmen and everybody's gonna be back after 2 semesters. So it's probably gonna be even twice as better as what it was gonna be if we started in the fall.
I hope so. Well, thank you guys for coming today. I really appreciate it, taking your time out, even after you're finished with your semester or almost finished. You should be studying for your finals or watching shows. So thank you for showing up today. I hope you guys enjoy your holiday weekend. And seniors, I look forward to seeing you next week on our last week of high school. It's going to be not what we planned. I'm looking forward to see you guys.